Welcome back everyone to the two-headed wolf gaming channel Last Epoch and our Necromancer. I farmed up to level 35, I have a bunch of passive and active skill points to spend and make sure that our minions stay strong. Well, let's start with gear first of all, because there's not a whole lot to talk about. I just wanted to speak about this ring, which at first seemed interesting just because it gives us that +1 to maximum skeletons, and I guess the +13 melee necrotic damage could also be really good, plus the 50% chance to chill on hit, and remember that chill reduces the attack, cast, and movement speed of enemies, so a 15% chance to do that can be quite efficient. However, in comparison to some of the rings that I found on this run, it doesn't seem like it's that important. This ring gives me 13% elemental resistance. It also gives me mana regeneration and 59% increased minion health, so that's pretty good. And this other ring gives me a lot of minion damage, health, critical strike multiplier, some physical damage increased by 25%, and overall that's quite good. Where I don't feel like this is worth doing equipping or anything like that. So we're not gonna do it. I just wanted to mention it. Just so you don't think that, yeah, I haven't done anything with that, or, you know, maybe I just threw it in and didn't talk about it at all. Either way, 18 points to spend at this moment, so let's see what we can do. We can get a bit more health regeneration, and that wouldn't be too bad at this moment. I am taking a lot of damage every once in a while. I guess in a way I could go for a bit more hunger duration there, just because it gives us a bit more base health. More speed could also help rather than increasing minion health and armor. Yeah, I think I am going... Actually, let's go with a bit of ward retention here and ward gained on minion death, because that happens every once in a while. So why not do a bit of it? Let's go with a bit more minion damage as well. Now we have Sacrifice, where we rip apart an allied minion, dealing physical damage to enemies around it. Added damage applies at double effectiveness. We're not really going to worry about this, we're not going further with it. Whenever you use a potion, you also consume a random minion, killing it to restore health. The health gain in this manner is equal to a percentage of the minion's current health. Hmm. Ah, could be useful, but I don't want to target the minion. And who knows what we might target by mistake. Maybe we'll target the golem, and that's going to be a bit problematic for us. We're gonna go with 1 point in Mortal Tether. No, we need 5 points in Mortal Tether to get that extra skeleton, so I guess we're gonna invest in this for now. And then we have Mark of Punishment. Whenever one of your minions die, it has the chance to mark the nearest enemy for death for 5 seconds. Mark of Death is a curse that lasts for 8 seconds and reduces all resistances by 25%. We are going with fire damage, so that could work for us. Your minions have a chance to shred armor on hit. I do like that, so we're going to get a point here. And how many do we need? We need to invest 3 here. Not exactly what I wanted, but I do want a point there. Ward gain chance 13 per point whenever you use a minion skill. Well, what is a minion skill? When I summon a minion. Okay, that might be useful. Dark Retribution. When one of your minions dies, you have a chance to summon a skeleton vanguard from its corpse. A minion that deals melee physical damage using a spear. You are limited to 3 active skeleton vanguards. This node also grants additional melee physical damage to skeleton vanguards summoned from any source. That could actually help. You are granted a percentage of the excess healing from Life Drinker as ward, up to a maximum. Okay. We'll get the extra skeleton here. And then we could invest in Unearthed Arms, minion melee physical damage +1, minion physical damage +1, and increase minion physical damage by 5% per point. This could add up to a lot. I do want Dark Retribution here. We'll only invest 1 point there. And I guess I want some base damage or a bit more speed. This could add up to a lot, but I guess throwing in and giving it a bit more speed could also really help. Maybe 50% chance to do armor shred could be good. Another point in health regeneration to get it to 20%. And now we have no more points, so that's it for this panel. As far as specialty goes, and before we get into our minions, I've unlocked Summon a Volatile Zombie. Summon a Volatile Zombie, which trudges towards the nearest enemy. When it reaches an enemy or dies, it explodes, dealing physical and fire damage to surrounding enemies. And I wanted to run with that just because I'm scaling up fire damage as well. Well, not that much, but that is the plan at least for the future. But one of the things which I don't like about this skill, where is it? Right here, is because no matter where I click, the summon happens right beside me. Right? And then the minion is going in that direction, which, or whatever direction whatever target it can find. And I don't really like this, meaning one of the things that I really love about Summon Rave here is that we can summon it further ahead than us. And thus many times when I'm here and I have a melee warrior here, when I summon the Rave even this little bit further, it can go ahead and reach the back lines without me having to move the entire army towards that target. So I am still protected while also attacking the enemy's back lines, and I love that a bit more than those exploding zombies, at least unupgraded. And I feel like I am going to specialize here in Summon Rape with this occasion. But we'll start with the skeletons. One of the things which I wanted was to go towards this one, getting this extra skeleton, right? And we get a bit more mana efficiency and 2% base crit chance. That's not bad at all. When a skeleton dies, there is a 10% chance to get another one, and I do like that. I want to have some automation, not a whole lot of it, but some. And that's about it. With the bone golem, I've invested another point here in burning bones, and I guess I would go one further, right? Just to turn it into a pyre golem. And now that we have a pyre golem, we can either go with Pyre Golem's Infernal Aura consumes skeleton and skeletal mages that it hits to deal more damage over time per minion it consumes. And that would be a 50% per skeleton and 80% per skeletal mage. That means they would die a lot. And I don't have enough mana, I believe, to actually support this at this moment. This seems something for the end game, which would sound great, but we need a higher mana pool because these ones cost 27 mana, this costs 11. If one attack consumes skeletons, then that is bad, I would say. Your golem deals more damage over time, and Pyre Golem's Infernal Aura deals damage in a larger area. Yes. What do we want to do? I guess if I invest 2 points here to increase damage over time and Infernal Aura area, and then I'm going to continue investing in Charred Bones just to get that 5 extra damage for each point invested, right? That I feel like that is pretty good. We can also increase the movement speed and the movement speed of nearby enemies. There's plenty we can do there. Over here, Skeletal Mages. We were heading in this direction, right? Ignites and poison inflicted by skeletal mages last longer and have additional penetration. That could work. Your skeletal mages have increased health, but regular skeletal mages are removed from the summon pool of skeletal mages. Your skeletal mages have increased health, but regular skeletal mages are removed from the summon pool. Regular skeletal mages, I'm guessing, are these mages, but we get over here and now we have only pyromancers, right? I think I like that idea. We're gonna fully invest over here. Skeletal mages critical strikes deal more damage, and when they critical strike, they are healed for a percentage of their maximum health. That could also work well. We could get a bit more projectiles. Frenzy chance. Skeleton have a chance to gain frenzy for 3 seconds when they hit an enemy. That seems very nice to have. But for the moment, let's maximize this fire penetration and ignite duration. And then we're gonna go with 2 points here, and then we're gonna go to Frenzy. Wraiths. Wraiths have some fire damage over here. Flame Wraith chance, which casts fireballs. Additionally, all Wraiths deal more damage. So the only idea is, where do we want to go? Wraiths have more maximum health, but summon Wraiths cost more mana. I don't want that, I prefer the numbers. Summon Wraiths appear at the target location, but okay, so this one would actually make us summon the Wraiths in the back lines. Sure, I'll do this for the moment. More melee attack speed. extra health there. I'm gonna go with a point here, then we're gonna go with 2 necrotic damage. We're gonna get some summoning mana efficiency and summoning cast speed increase, yes. And then we're gonna get the flame wraiths, that will be great. That's it. So this is the build that we're going with at the moment, and let's see it in action. We apparently already summoned one of these. Whatever they were, vanguards. This is vanguard because I can see the spear there. That's really nice. Can I summon? Okay, so now we have 4 archers, 4 swordsmen. And I think this is going to work really well for us. I should summon, yeah, now we have the fire golem there as well. I believe I have to summon, yeah, now we'll have 3 mages with fire damage. I'm running a bit out of mana, but that is totally fine. Even though in the beginning I wasn't really worried about mana generation, at this point I feel like I've reached that moment where this is starting to become a problem. Especially when I'm finding bosses and I have to fight them, those AoEs are really bad. And having to summon a bunch of skeletons, for example, really eats at my mana. That doesn't matter. If I had to wonder what I would specialize in as a final skill, in a sense I would really go forward with this build. Maybe Assemble Abomination is actually really good, really strong. At this moment what I am doing is mostly focusing on an element and going in that direction. And I guess I would consider, just as a theory, that I'm losing a lot of damage by not using skills which sacrifice minions, right? Like this one right here with sacrifice, right? This explosion, this increase in damage. And I'm sure that if I go here, we could probably get some buffs as well for minions. Yeah, damage with minions, 6% per point. Bleed chances to summon blood specters in the process. So we could go with something like this and actually get a few more minions in the process of a different type. Sacrifice deals significantly more damage if the sacrifice minion has more current health than you. Okay, so if we can explode our golem there. So I'm sure that there are certain things, or the Dread Shade which eats at our enemies. I'm sure that there's some efficiency there that we could get, probably some real high level multipliers. However, that is not what I'm focused on right now. And let's bring in a bunch of shades just to take care of these. Another passive point. What are we going to do? Fanatic summons. Increase attack speed for minions, cast speed, and cast speed for minions. Okay. When you take a hit while at low health, you have a chance to consume one of your minions, stealing its current health to heal yourself. Your minions deal increased fire and bow damage. Ooh, they really make this attractive. Like, you want that downside in a way, which I'm not sure how much of a downside it is. Increase health but reduce minion health. I don't want that. Sure, let's go with this. I want that extra fire damage. Let's target this one. As far as necrotic damage goes, I think we're pretty resistant. We don't really have to worry about it. Poison... Oh, this is what I wanted to say. I started the sentence earlier and didn't finish it. You have to be a bit careful with poison, as it can really quickly kill you. I mean, if you get 12 stacks, and it's pretty easy to get 12 stacks when you have as many scorpions as you have in the previous map, for example. it can really kill you quickly. Let your minions, you are not a tank, unless you build yourself as a tank, unless you throw in a lot of health, ward, armor, dodge, everything, anything and everything like that. Then consider yourself a minion build. Don't stay in the area of damage. Let your minions do the job. I know that sometimes it feels a bit more attractive to get into the action and actually help in taking down the enemies. You don't want to play passively like this. I guess that's the downside always for minion builds. That's why sometimes it's not attractive to certain people. But look at this. We're actually getting these spearmen and they stay with us all the way through when our skeletons die. So that was a really good pick for a minion build. And even without a minion build, I really feel like that is helpful, right? Because you're getting yourself some extra help without having to occupy minion slots. And that's something you don't see too often. But what other build would you make with? I guess another build that you could make with minions, if you don't want to have this sort of an army, is probably summon volatile zombies. When it reaches the enemy or dies, it explodes, dealing physical and fire damage. Would there be a chance here that you can summon these without you having to do anything? Parasite, it explodes, dealing more damage, kill threshold, fear duration, mark for death, increase movement speed, summon skeleton warrior on death, so you can replace those with skeleton warriors. That's really nice. When a zombie dies, you have a chance to cast sacrifice on another nearby enemy. So we're doing this one here, so we can scale that up with summon volatile zombies, and that's really nice. You can make your zombies leap, increase their exploding area, chance to cast volatile zombie on minion death, so that is another way in which you could really scale this up. Infernal shade chance on death, so you can scale up with this one as well. Maybe you're not able to automate this, but you can definitely do a lot. We might even make a build. Chance to summon from indirect cast. You now summon a single large zombie with more health that deals more damage in a larger area, but volatile zombies cost more mana. Chance to summon from indirect cast. I don't know exactly what it means by that, but it seems to be like some sort of automation, as I said. Chance 4 additional zombies from indirect casts. Summon additional zombies per cast, but volatile zombies cost more mana and has additional cooldown. Oh, I see. No, so basically you summon zombies, you just summon zombies, but there's a 10% chance that you'll get one of these additional zombies from indirect cast, or you get a big zombie from just summoning zombies. Got it. Yeah, you can get a lot of damage. I am thinking I'm gonna want to try out a build where we are going for, what was it here? So this one, volatile zombie, we can go with infernal shade, and we go with marrow shards here. Like if we combine those three together with this one, make it sacrifice somehow, like the skeletons that we're running with or something like that, it could really turn out into something beautiful. It would be like a firework, right? It explodes, you're exploding in a blaze of glory, and then you're left alone, and you keep summoning things which blow up, and you just constantly find yourself, well, hopefully you're not finding yourself in danger because everybody's dead, right, by that point. Either way, I like how things are going here. I like the fact that we can summon waves behind enemy lines. As I say, I prefer it to zombies. Wraiths, let's get these flame wraiths. Chance. And what I could do to probably increase that is just to get some fire damage. Let's get a bit more. Chance to ignite on hit. Can I get here This is just fire resistance, right? Yes. I mean, this will not be able to be modified. Here we're busy already. I'm guessing here we have everything yes as well. Okay, a bit unfortunate. We cannot get multipliers at this moment. I can get a few more multipliers on minion damage there. Why not? Let's do this. Passive skill points. We're going to go with even more fire damage. At the end of the day, I'm still hoping that I could get this third part here. Get that plus 42 to fire damage, that would be great. I mean, it wouldn't be difficult to remove the fire resistance there. Make sure that we're scaling up the rest. Okay, let's make sure that we stay here. I'll bring a bunch of shades in. We'll focus, actually let's focus on this overseer first, because he's annoying. And the Stygian Warden, yeah, he's just getting overwhelmed. He had no chance from the beginning.
This square, I wish I'd seen it. I can only imagine how she...
Interestingly enough, even though I have a lot of modifiers here from the different characters, the uniques that I'm running with are not that special. This one gives 114 extra damage for spells and bows. That can help, and a bit of leech keeps them healthy. But the rest is not that impressive. Over here I'm getting the word when I'm casting Wandering Spirits, but that's pretty much it. The rest don't really matter too much. And this one, with except for the resistances, I guess, and there is minion damage, it's about 80% there. But you could get 80% from a lot of pieces of gear. But even without this, because the 2 set just gives me a 5% chance to replenish a potion on Golem Heat, even without those, he would still be totally fine. I mean, look at this stuff. 35% increase minion damage, plus it gives me plus 21 to melee damage and spell damage, which applies to our minions. Extra physical damage and lightning damage and a chance to ignite on hit. So probably even throwing that in would be fine. It'll be difficult to figure out how much damage we're doing with all of this. And I can see the multipliers over here, the minions killing. However, it's not... I really would like to see base damage somewhere in here. I'm not sure exactly why we don't have this in games. I mean, there isn't a panel like that in Path of Exile either. That's why it's always, I guess you need Path of Building in a way to get some calculation, some form of calculation. Wraiths have more additional strike chance, and when you cast Summon Wraith, you gain increased critical strike chance equal to the mana cost for 4 seconds. That's 20. So we get a 20% critical strike chance. I think I like that as an upgrade. We're not summoning enough fire wraiths here. I would like a few more, so I'm going to go for the next upgrade as well. More potions, more ward decay. And I've reached a point where, as far as the Necromancer goes and the direction in which I've taken, I like it. It feels very familiar, I would say. It's not like this crazy thing which feels super unique like I've done in the previous days. But it is a nice way to play it. It's a nice way to play with the minions. It feels good. As I said in the beginning, they feel a lot squishier. You don't have abilities. You are looking more at these minions as expendables, and I guess that's why you have all of those abilities where you sacrifice them, you explode them, you do all sorts of things like that. That's a big plus. And I like the fact that, in a way, I've changed this build into a way where I am playing super passively, which I don't really like to do too much. Even when I'm thinking of Path of Exile, what I'm doing with the right click is, at least generally speaking, casting Sacrifice or something like that, or teleporting around or doing things like that. Here we don't have a teleportation, now that I think about it. I don't know, probably there might be one on one of the skills, one of the specializations, but it is not.
Hidden so close.
It is not at the moment on
Don't
us.
ask her about the diamond matrons. You'll regret it.
So that forces you to walk instead of teleport. Only the mage has teleport. And it's a smooth experience. Overall, I really liked it. I've enjoyed it. It's something that I would recommend for a first-time player. I mean, there's plenty to do, and it's not difficult to figure out or learn or do things like this, which I believe is really nice. Tomorrow and the day after that, we are going to go for the next classes, which were, what, the Leech and the Warlock. Now with Leech, yeah, we start with Drain Life, or we don't start with Drain Life, but we're gonna reach Drain Life there. I was thinking that the Leech sounds like it would drain the life out of enemies, so that is something which we are going to go with. I'm thinking Reblood, Marrow Shards, probably Bone Curse as well. This Transplant might be one of those things which we pick up, definitely. And the other thing, with the Warlock, we'll probably go, I'm thinking Warlock, Curses, things like that. So Harvest, which does extra damage, double damage for those who are cursed. Wandering Spirits, Hungering Souls was also interesting and good. And who knows what else. Really depends. We'll have to see. But these are just my thoughts for the moment. Let's see, what do we want to get here? A bit more attack speed or more fire damage? I wouldn't go too far with this. Is this better? This one is also offering us some cast speed to us. But we don't care about it that much. We're not supporting our minions with straight up attacks, we're just summoning wraiths. And just having a higher speed to summon wraiths doesn't seem impressive to me. And it does cost more mana, of course, to bring as many as necessary. I believe that in this area we're taking a bit more poison damage as well, so we'll have to get all of those scorpions. Make sure you stay away from them. Let your minions do their job. Target them to go forward or whatever it needs for you not to sit in their range. Okay, another passive point here. We're going to keep going with... get a bit more health regen. This was sort of a labyrinth. I think the first thing which I will do when I'm going to pick the first character to take to the end game, the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to explore these maps fully. There seems to be plenty of those chests which give you specialized gear, like something which is always pretty much the same, just different roles. And I'm thinking that that might be something which I want to do. To figure out what else is there in this world. Because there might be many secrets which I've missed, there might be passive skill points which I've missed as well. By not exploring, whenever I had an opportunity and I felt like exploring areas a bit more, I always found these quests, these passive quests, which gave us extra points. When we're looking at the maps, we can see here there are quests that give you extra slot rewards, right, for idols. And this one, it tells you how many passive skill points you can get from this area. Which means that if you pay a bit of attention, then you can figure out whether you missed a quest or not. My only gripe about that is that you don't know exactly from this entire map where was that passive quest. Ooh, yeah. So that killed me from physical damage. That was really bad. I have 11% physical resistances and 21% armor, and 7% chance to dodge. So not that great. And once we're done, like once everybody dies here and I have to resummon all of these, starting to become a bit up on mana regeneration. As you can see, these skeletal marriages are really expensive. Increase cast speed, health, +1 to reperform, void resistant, yeah, all that. More movement speed, more dodge rating, more attunement, more dodge flat out, and resistances. No, I like the current dudes. And I think that's about it for the moment. As I said, as far as this class goes, I went with something which felt to me very classic. It's not my strong suit. Now, if you really like minion builds and you want to see more, I would recommend that you look for a YouTuber called Gazi. It's like Gazi TV or something in the name of his channel. He is really big into minions, like really big. And that's the only person that I know and I've looked at every once in a while. The guides, at least the ones that I followed for Path of Exile and things like that, are, I don't know, they're not the friendliest as far as language goes. I mean, it takes you a bit of effort to fully understand what he talks about, because he's taking it at a really high level, even with crafting gear and things like that. He's explaining things, but the concepts to make like these super minion builds require knowledge, and he's sharing that with you. It's like, you know, it's like being in a room, I don't know, a room full of surgeons, right? And they talk in these medical terms, and each and every one of them knows what they're talking about. And it doesn't have to be doctors, you can even talk about programmers. Like if you have no idea about the domain and the language in which they speak and the terms and knowledge that they have, the background knowledge that they hold, it's very difficult to understand. However, if you spend some time and you try to understand bit by bit, you're gonna reach a point where you fully understand it. And I'm sure he made builds for last Epoch. I know he was playing, I haven't really looked at them. But he has probably some good ideas if you really care to go super high on minion builds. I don't think he really experiments with anything else other than minions, but there you have it. I think I'll have a few more ideas when it comes to the following days, when we're focusing on curses and when we're focusing on Leech. Hopefully we can come up with some really good ideas, something which would be interesting to try out and enjoy. And either way, I hope this was helpful as well for you. If you like the videos, if you like the series, do consider leaving a like, as it does help me, it helps the channel grow, and it would be much appreciated. If you have any ideas, if you have any thoughts, leave them down in the comments below. I'd be interested to find out more from you as well. We're putting all this knowledge together and we're gonna have a better experience all around. But run and don't die. Good, we're fine. And without dying at the end of this episode, I thank you very much for watching and I wish you all to have a wonderful day.